Hello, and welcome to Dad Doesn't Have Time for This, the show where we review things in a brief manner. Today we're going to mix it up into a game review. I haven't done a lot of these, but it's time, because I just finished the game, and that game is Baten Kaitos, the HD remaster for the Nintendo Switch. This is a game I wanted to play back in the day, but I never really got around to it. And then I discovered Xenoblade, the wonderful, highly acclaimed series from Monolith Soft. I love those games. They are excellent on so many levels. And after playing through all the Xenoblade games a couple of times, I came to the conclusion I needed more Monolith Soft in my life, and there's not a lot of options. And I'm too lazy to go get a copy of Xenogears at the moment. So, I went with Baten Kaitos, since the HD remaster came out, and you know what? I thought it was pretty fun. I went in this not knowing a whole lot other than it had a dude with wings. The characters are kind of an okay mix. 2 or 3 of them were interesting, but not the best RPG cast. The battle system I found a lot more interesting. It's like a card-based system where you build a deck and then you use that deck to attack and block, and you can do combos based off of straights and matches, and it's got an interesting flow. It's turn-based cards, but it's also, there's a pretty strict timer on how you're playing, so if you don't go quickly, your turn gets skipped and then you get really hosed. And I like the combat, it was good. Well, the characters were kind of hit or miss. I did think that the world was very well done. I like how distinct and different all the areas were, especially one area where every town in this floating island is a different aesthetic. The first one's a bakery, and then the second one's like abstract Picasso art, and then the third one's like a weird, actually the third one was kind of a more normal village. But in between those two, you had like a garden where gravity is different depending on which door you go through, and after you go through each door, you get stuck in this 2D dungeon to get to the other door. It's hard to explain, but the world and the environments are quite good, and I really appreciated the assists that they added to the game. I know a lot of people complain about, oh, you need an easy mode, but you know what? I have a lot of my play. I don't have time for this, as this show's title will attest, and you know what? If I can triple the game's speed and auto battle, I'm going to do so instead of grinding, because I don't like grinding. But if I can actually, let me rephrase that, depends on the game. Sometimes I do find grinding relaxing, but in this game's case, well, I enjoyed the combat. I did not feel like grinding, so I just turned on all the boosts and would grind if I got stuck from levels, and went from there. My general strategy was I would boost my way through the normal encounters, and then when I'd get to a boss fight, I'd turn off all the boosts and play the game normally. So I played all the boss fights normally and then boosted my way through all the normal fights, and I had a lot of fun doing it this way, because that way I didn't have to constantly refight the same enemies. Because if you step out of a room and back into the same room, everything respawns every time, and that gets really old really fast if you got to go back and forth between the same room 5 or 6 times in a row. So I appreciate the ability to boost my way through the minor encounters, even turn off encounters if I wanted to, but I'm too much of a min-maxer for that. And the game was a lot of fun. I'd say it's not anywhere near as good as any of the Xenoblade games, but I like those games way too much, so there is that. Not on par with Squaresoft at the time, but Monolith is also still coming into their own, so it is what it is. All in all, I had a fun time with this game, and I would say it was the 118th best game of all time. If you're looking for kind of a older feeling RPG with an interesting world, I'd give this one a whirl, and maybe I'll get around to playing the sequel, which is a prequel. We'll see. But for now, have a great day.